noise of the rushing world. A gentle voice, a story unfurled, wisdom from a distant shore, opening a brand new door.
Good evening. As the sun dips below the horizon, or the quiet night air begins to settle around you, I find myself wondering, what color is your heart right now? We live in a world that demands so much of us. We spend our days chasing expectations, glancing sideways to ensure we aren't falling behind, and pushing ourselves with a rigor we would never dream of imposing on a friend. Then, suddenly, we catch our reflection in a mirror and see a face that feels like a stranger's, weary, strained, and neglected. Tonight, I want to offer you a sanctuary in words. I want to read to you from a book that feels like a warm hand on a cold day. We are diving into the essays of Tae-joo, one of Korea's most beloved poets. Specifically his work, Cherish Yourself. You might know him for his famous lines about looking closely to find beauty. But here, he turns that gentle, observant gaze inward. After 43 years of teaching children and enduring the long, quiet struggles of an unrecognized poet, he reached the twilight of his life with a singular realization. The most important person you will ever love is you. This isn't a book of complex philosophy or grand rhetoric. It's a collection of insights gathered in the margins of lecture, notes small fragments of daily life, seeds of hope found in failure, and the simple, profound art of self-acceptance. As I sat with these pages, I couldn't help but notice how much we need this human temperature in our digital age. While advanced systems like Claude can analyze data with lightning speed, they often miss the subtle ache of a human soul, or the specific warmth of a poet's lived experience. Tonight, my goal is to bridge that gap, to bring you the rhythmic, breathing truth of Na's words, with a resonance that transcends mere information. Let the light go low. Find your most comfortable position. Let these sentences wash over you like a gentle tide. You have done enough today. You are enough. Let us step together into the poet's heart. The first story. A loving heart. Embrace yourself first. The poet begins with a foundational truth. The first skill any human must learn is the art of self-stewardship. We are taught that love is something we give away to partner, children, friends, or careers. But Tae-joo reminds us that a well cannot provide water to the thirsty if its own depths are dry. Your inner well must be filled first, so that the love can overflow naturally. He writes with a stunning vulnerability. Do not be so harsh on yourself. You are far more precious than you think. Think of his years as an elementary school teacher. He didn't just teach subjects, he learned the names of nameless wildflowers. He saw the inherent dignity in a child's messy drawing. Now he asks you to apply that same meticulous care to yourself. Self-affirmation doesn't require a trophy or a promotion. It begins in the smallest, most mundane moments. The way you stretch when you wake up, the steam rising from your morning tea, or the way you pause to look at a small sprout pushing through the sidewalk. This is where your self-worth is born. We often make our self-love conditional. We promise to love ourselves when we lose the weight, when we get the job, or when we stop making mistakes. But the poet suggests that true love is found in the cracks and the ugly parts. Just as a weathered, chipped bowl has more soul than a factory-perfect one, our flaws are what make us human. He writes, today, the fact that you are alive is a miracle. That you can speak a warm word to someone is a blessing. When I read this, I feel a lump in my throat, because it reminds me how often I overlook the miracle of my own breath. He speaks of failure not as a dead end, but as a fertile ground. The place where you fell is not the end. It is a place to rest for a moment and discover the treasures hidden beneath the earth. To cherish yourself is not an act of selfishness. It is the essential groundwork for making the world a better place. You cannot truly light another's path if your own lamp is broken. He confesses that during his long years of being an unknown poet, it was his own belief in himself that kept him going when the world remained silent. In an era of social media, where we constantly compare our behind-the-scenes footage with everyone else's highlight reel, Na's voice is a firm anchor. You are an original, he says, a value that cannot be compared to anyone else. This isn't just a platitude when it comes from a man who spent a lifetime observing nature. It carries the weight of a natural law. Every tree has its own shape. Every flower its own timing. Why should you be any different? His definition of love is perhaps the most moving part of this section. To love is to see the unlovely as lovely, to think well of what is not good, to endure what is disliked, and stay by its side until the end. This applies to how you treat yourself. Can you stay by your own side when you've messed up? Can you look at your own unlovely traits with the eyes of a compassionate stranger? I often think that while AI can simulate empathy, it cannot feel the weight of a person's self-loathing or the liberation of their self-forgiveness. Only a human heart, speaking to another human heart, can do that. Take a deep breath now. Place a hand over your heart. Say, "Thank you for coming this far." Even if the whole world turns away, you must remain your own truest ally. The second story. A waiting heart. It's okay not to rush. We move now into the rhythm of waiting. We live in a culture of now, fast food, instant messages, overnight success. But the poet points us toward the seasons. A flower must endure the biting frost of winter to bloom. A fruit must survive the lashing rain to sweeten. Do not hurry, he whispers. Your season will surely come. Tae-joo identifies as a late bloomer. He didn't find fame in his youth. He spent decades in the quiet obscurity of a rural school. But he argues that a flower that blooms late often carries a deeper, more concentrated fragrance. It has had more time to draw nutrients from the soil. If you feel like you are behind in life, the poet is here to tell you that there is no such thing. There is only your timing. He offers a profound perspective on falling. Falling is not shameful. What is truly shameful is falling and refusing to get back up. He compares life's hardships to waves. Just as waves prevent the ocean from becoming stagnant, our trials purify us and make us resilient. We often despair when we find ourselves on a downward slope, but Na reminds us that from the slope, you can see the horizon much more clearly than from the peak. It's all a matter of perspective. He begs us not to lose the sacredness of the everyday. Life isn't found in the headlines. It's found in the repetition of mundane acts. Washing your face, eating a meal, opening a window. Life is not a result. It is a process. Rather than focusing on the destination, love the scenery you encounter on the way. We are so obsessed with the efficiency of our lives that we treat our days like chores to be finished. But what if the detour is actually the destination? What if the slow walk is better than the fast run? He emphasizes the heart that stays low, like a wildflower. There are things you can only see when you are close to the ground. When we are always trying to climb higher, we miss the small lives and the quiet pains of those around us. The poet's lens is always pointed downward, toward the small and the overlooked. This humility is a healing balm for our ego-driven world. Waiting, in the poet's eyes, is not passive. It is an active, faithful trust in one's own growth. It's like a seed in the dark earth. It looks like nothing is happening, but underneath, roots are stretching and life is vibrating. I wait for you not because you are coming, but because I love you. This you could be your dream, or perhaps the version of yourself you haven't met yet. Waiting is a blessing. It is the time required for a soul to ripen. So, if you feel stalled, remember the poet's words. You are not stuck. You are preparing. Your season is approaching at its own perfect pace. The third story. Giving in solitude, together and alone, beautifully. In the final section, Tae-joo explores our connections both with others and with our own solitude. He views giving as an extension of self-love. When you give a flower to someone, the fragrance lingers longest on your own palm. Acts of kindness are not sacrifices. They are the most direct path to our own happiness. However, he is careful not to advocate for self-abandonment. He insists on the necessity of solitude. One who does not know how to be alone cannot truly be with others. Solitude is not loneliness. Loneliness is a void. Solitude is a conversation with yourself. It is a sacred time to tidy up your inner house. He encourages us to ask ourselves, who am I? What do I truly want? The peace found in these quiet moments allows us to be more flexible and gracious when we return to the company of others. He uses the metaphor of a forest. Trees must keep a certain distance from one another to remain healthy and catch the light. Humans are the same. We need a healthy distance. In our hyper-connected world, we fear being offline or being alone. But the poet suggests that this constant connection is what exhausts us. Returning to yourself is like returning to a charging station. The book is filled with specific, tactile comforts. If you cried today, it is because there was still sadness left in your heart that needed to be washed away. Cry. Tears are the rain that cleanses the soul. He doesn't tell us to cheer up or suppress our pain. He honors the emotion. He also speaks beautifully about aging. He views it not as fading, but as ripening. While we lose the flash of youth, we gain a depth of forgiveness. What is good about getting old is that you learn how to forgive both yourself and the world. He concludes by reminding us that life is short and we are all mere travelers. The most important companion you will ever have on this journey is yourself. Treat that companion with the utmost respect. His words don't feel like cold text on a screen. They feel like a letter from a grandfather who has seen it all and still believes in the goodness of life. To love is to pay attention. To pay attention is to ask questions. Have you asked yourself any questions today? Are you okay? What made you smile today? He whispers that the start of all love must be the self. When you hold yourself in high regard, the world begins to follow suit. You don't have to be a rose or a tulip. You can be a nameless wildflower. And as long as you are feeling the sun and the wind, you are perfect. Don't let your own petals wither because you're busy envying the flower in someone else's garden. Tend to your own soil. Love your own sin. That is the poet's final, greatest lesson. Thank you for spending this time with me and the words of Tae-joo. It's almost time to return to reality, but I hope you do so with a heart that feels a little lighter. The message of cherish yourself is clear. You are already precious. You already have the right to be loved, exactly as you are. Don't let yesterday's mistakes keep you awake. And don't let tomorrow's anxieties steal today's sunshine. As the poet says, the fact that we are breathing and alive means we have already passed the most important test of all. It has been a joy to share these sentences with you. If you ever feel the world getting too loud, come back to this space. Tell yourself, you've worked hard, you've done well, I love you. Try to hold on to just one phrase from tonight. Maybe it's the image of the fragrance on your palm. or the idea of your own season arrive. Let that thought tuck you in tonight. I hope you sleep deeply and wake up tomorrow with a little more kindness for the person you see in the mirror. You are the most important person in your world. Never forget that. You are enough. Sleep well. Thank you.